Hey guys, today I'm going to tell you how to make your own fertilizer, and this is an extremely potent fertilizer. You have to be careful because you can burn it if you don't mix it properly, but you can do away with those synthetic fertilizers that are highly expensive from your local hardware store. So this method will create almost virtually for free. I would say a few of the ingredients, of course, you're going to have to buy, and you may actually have it in your refrigerator now, but the cost on this is extremely low. I'm thinking maybe 10 cents a gallon, and it works great for your vegetable garden, for your perennials, annuals, trees, shrubs. So this is an all-around great fertilizer, and it's super easy to put together. Now, the first thing you're going to need in this ingredient list is just grass clippings and a mixture of weeds. Now, the field where I cut this has a lot of weeds in it, so this is not just only grass clippings. There's a lot of weeds mixed in there with it. Another thing is you want the weeds or grass clippings, you want them to be cut in pretty fine amounts. You don't want them to be big. You want to chop them up either manually or with your push mower or riding mower or weed eater and make it in small pieces like this. You're going to need one to 2 cups of the mixture of weeds and grass clippings cut finely. Now, the next thing you're going to need is about 1 cup of black cow composted manure. You don't want to use manure that's not been composted because it can contain too much nitrogen and it can burn your plants fairly easily. And you can put all this in one of these fine mesh bags. I usually use these bags to put over my persimmons in the summer to keep insects off of them, and they work really well. And these are super cheap. I'll put a link to them in the description, and everything else I'm using that you can get on Amazon. Some things obviously you're not going to be able to order on Amazon, like this black cow, because it's just too heavy to ship. It makes a lot more sense just to go to your local hardware store. So just remember, you can assemble everything in one of these bags and just let it sit inside of a 5-gallon bucket, and I'll show you in just a second how a 5-gallon bucket can be turned into a dispenser, which makes it super easy to use. But just remember, you can go without the bags, that's fine. You'll just need to make sure you filter it before you put it into your sprayer, because it will clog mechanical sprayers and hand pump sprayers. Now, later on in the video, I'm going to explain why each one of these ingredients are important, but it should be fairly obvious on some of them. But next, you're going to need 2 tablespoons of blood meal and 2 tablespoons of bone meal. And I'll also, at the very end of the video, I'll explain how you can reduce the smell to a bare minimum, because without that last step, this fermentation process can really create a foul-smelling, rotten egg sort of thing. So remember, 2 and 2, and we'll go on to the next item. Now, one thing that you don't need to skip is this right here. And like I said, some people already have this in the refrigerator, but this is active dry yeast. I keep this in my refrigerator, or my wife does whenever she's making breads or anything like that. So you're going to take 1 teaspoon, not tablespoon, 1 teaspoon of this and put that in with a mixture and mix it well. And also, you want to make sure the water is slightly warm. Another really important thing is don't use water that has chlorine in it. Only use rainwater, or if you do use water coming from your tap and you know it has chlorine in it, let it sit outside so the gases can escape from the water, and you'll have a chlorine-free water in about 24 to 48 hours. I'd give it 48 hours just in case. Now, you need food for your yeast to feed off of, and you can either use white granulated sugar, brown sugar, molasses, and you're going to need 2 tablespoons of that, and mix it very well into your water, and that will feed the yeast and really boost the microbrial growth along with everything else in there. The black cow, the weeds, all this works in conjunction with each other to help produce an incredible fertilizer. And I'll tell you, there's one thing you need to do so you don't burn your plants. Now, you want to mix all this in a food grade bucket, and I believe I purchased these from either Home Depot or Lowe's. I can't remember which, but it is a food grade bucket, and I believe you can read it right there. But another thing is, I ordered one of these taps right here so I could easily fill and refill my sprayers. I have a small sprayer, this little small solo sprayer when I'm doing small jobs, and I have a large backpack sprayer, and it will do quite a large area. And I always talk about this because it is truly the workhorse of the garden. I mentioned it yesterday that this makes my gardening so much easier when I have a lot to spray. It's 20-volt powered. You don't have to worry about just pumping and pumping and pumping, wearing your arm out. So this right here is one of the things I love in the garden. I'll put a link to it down below. But depending on what size garden you have, you may just need something like a solo sprayer, or maybe even a small hand sprayer. So it just really depends on how many plants you're watering. But you're going to mix everything, all the ingredients, in this 5-gallon bucket, or if you can use a smaller bucket like this cat litter bucket that I've got that I just repurposed them. I painted them. It's actually, I forget the brand, but you can use something like that. But what I do is I put the ingredients in one of these bags, so it has really, really small, I don't know if you can see that, but it's very, very hard for anything to escape from it. I put it on the edge of the bucket. How many ever ingredients, I just put them in there and make sure it's all mixed together, and I put the lid on it. Now, one thing you want to make sure you do, don't put this in direct sunlight. You want to put this in a shady spot anywhere from 7 to 14 days, and it will smell. I will tell you that the smell is terrible, but there's one way you can stop that, is by using an aeration pump, kind of like the kind you see in aquariums. Use an air stone, put it at the bottom, and just let it run the whole time you're allowing the fermentation process, and that will cut way back on the smell. Now, I mentioned about burning your plants. If you're pouring these if you're pouring the solution at the root, then you're probably going to be okay. You're not going to burn the plant. But if you're going to spray it directly on the leaves, it's just like any other fertilizer. You can potentially burn the leaves, so you want to make sure you cut it by about 1 part of the solution to about 3 parts water, so you're reducing it down and making it a lot less potent so you don't harm your plants. Also, do a test spray in a small area, maybe 1 or 2 leaves, and see how it reacts. Wait 24 hours and make sure, because if you've been growing something all summer long, or if you've been growing something for maybe many years, like a shrub, tree, or something, you want to make sure that it's not going to react negatively to your solution. Now, I want to go through each item and talk about how it benefits your garden and why it works and what it's doing. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the grass clippings and the weed clippings, and mixed together. They pull minerals and things like that from the soil. So if you have a soil in a certain area that is still pretty good, like a lot of gardens, they just continually draw minerals out of the soil. So if you're collecting these weeds from more of a wild area, there could be a high mineral content in them. So that's one thing. Also, you have micronutrients in the weeds and the grasses, wherever you've clip them from, there's going to be those in there. And then the last thing is you're going to have nitrogen, especially in the grass clippings. So that's one of those things. Now, you want to be careful that if you've treated your grass with any type of chemical fertilizer or herbicide, then you don't want to use that. You want this to be completely safe and natural. So if your grass has been treated, go with the weeds and don't do grass. Make sure you stay away from that. Now, next I want to talk about the black cow, and it has beneficial microbes in it. It's going to slowly feed your plant at the base, and also if you've diluted it, it's a direct foliar feeding as well. So it's really one of those things that you really need to just get 1 bag of it and keep it on hand, because that will really benefit it. Also, keep it out of the sun, because it can kill the microbes if inside the bag it gets too hot. Now, next is the bone meal. It has phosphorus and calcium, and it's going to also be really good for your plants. It's going to add in that into the soil and also in the foliar feeding, and it's really important to have bone meal in this mixture. It's actually probably more important than the blood meal. The blood meal will act as kind of a nitrogen booster, but if I had to pick one or the other and you'd only had one, make sure you get the bone meal. It's really cheap. It's not expensive at all, and I'll put a link to both of those in the description as well. Now, next we have the yeast and the sugars mixed together, and of course I said it earlier, is the sugars feed the yeast, but it also creates a lot more microbrial action in your 5-gallon bucket. So it's going to really help feed your plant. In 7 to 14 days, this will be a very, very potent fertilizer. And again, make sure you dilute, and always do a small test area to make sure you don't accidentally kill whatever you're growing. Now, I apply this about every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing season in my vegetable garden, and maybe once or twice a summer I'll go around the yard and do an entire spray on a lot of different things with my backpack sprayer. And I also have a hose-end sprayer. I think it's a 6-gallon hose-end sprayer. You just hook it up to your hose pipe, and they're really cheap. I'll put a link in the description to that as well. But that is really easy to use, especially if you're trying to get up high and hit a 15 to 20, 25-foot tree. It will put a great solution all over. And remember, dilution is key there, and also doing a test spray the day before. Allow it to see what happens. You don't want to come back and find out your entire tree, shrub, plant, whatever it is you're working with is dead because you didn't dilute it enough. So just remember, test treatments are best, and wait about 24 to 48 hours to make sure there's no negative side effects. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is seeding. If some of those weeds have actually produced seeds and they get into your mixture, you might actually be spreading some very small seeds around the garden. So even though something like this mesh strainer has a very fine mesh, These are even smaller, and even the smallest seeds would have a hard time getting through that. So you just want to make sure that you're filtering it as you bring it out. Something like this one, I'll put 1 gallon of the composted fermented tea inside of that and then fill it the rest of the way up. And I just make sure that on the top of this, I make sure as I'm pouring the first gallon in of the fermented compost tea, I make sure that I carefully pour it over something like this that is an ultra fine mesh. I don't know if you can see that, but it is super small. I mean, we're talking about microns as far as how much it can get through there. So I don't think you have to worry about seeds with this, but something like this type of mesh, seeds might get through, and you might be accidentally spreading seeds throughout your garden if you've pulled a weed. So just remember, filtration is the key when you start filling up your sprayer, whether it's a hose-in sprayer, backpack, or one of these solo sprayers. So I think if you switch from your synthetic fertilizers to this organic tea, I think you're going to see a huge difference in your vegetable garden, in your ornamentals, annuals, whatever you're growing. It really makes a huge difference. And yes, you can use it on trees and shrubs as well, as azaleas, camellias, whatever you have growing in your yard. It won't hurt it as long as you follow the rule about 1 part of the tea and 4 parts water. And also the most extremely important part is do a test spray and wait 48 hours to make sure you don't kill anything. So guys, I really appreciate you watching. This is a video about how to save money, is comparing the price of fertilizers now. They've gone through the roof. So I love doing something like this where I can make something for pennies rather than paying dollars. So if you have any questions about this video or any previous video, please become a public subscriber first, and then I'll put you to the front of the line. I get so many comments, I can't answer all the questions and comments right away. So sometimes it takes me days or even weeks to get to everything, and I do try to do each one of them, but it just takes so much time. So guys, I really appreciate you watching, and have a great day.